Justin Trudeau's climate change agenda. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.media. We know that Justin Trudeau is committed to the environment. He not only appointed Catherine McKenna as his environment minister, he appointed Stéphane Dion, the author of The Green Shift, to chair a cabinet committee on the environment. And Dion now says that it's the job of every cabinet minister in the Trudeau cabinet to fight on climate change. I really want to know what the Minister of National Defence has to do with climate change. Maybe I'm just ignorant. I don't know. Look, Trudeau's push on climate change is going to be fascinating. He's about to leave on several weeks of whirlwind summitry. He's going to be going to the G20. He's going to an APEC conference. He's going to visit the Queen. He's going to a conference in Malta. He's for the Commonwealth, and he's going to Paris. He's going to really expand his carbon footprint over the next little while, but that's okay. It's all for the good of the planet because he believes in climate change. But what are his goals? What does he want to accomplish? Well, that was one question that CBC had for Trudeau during his news conference on Thursday. I want you to listen to the question and the answer. It's from CBC's Terry Molesky to Justin Trudeau on why he's going to the Paris climate talks.
I'm pleased to be able to announce that I will be meeting with the premiers in a First Minister's meeting on the 23rd of November. We are having a climate briefing by top climate scientists for the First Ministers and for my own cabinet, to be followed by a working dinner with the premiers to exactly discuss the kind of strong and cohesive message we will be delivering as Canadians in Paris at the very important COP21 conference.
I'm more interested in a different angle. First off, I want to know who the scientists are that will be brought in to advise Trudeau and the premiers. I did ask the Liberals. They said they don't have a full list yet, but that it will be a mix of government scientists and experts in their field drawn from academia and elsewhere. I want to show you how some of these people think, well, how they think when it comes to climate change. You'll remember that there was a man named Stephen Harper. He used to be Prime Minister, and before he was Prime Minister, he wrote a letter to members of the Conservative Party asking for their help. Here's what he said about the Kyoto Protocol at that point. Kyoto is essentially a socialist scheme to suck money out of wealth-producing nations. That was Stephen Harper back before he became Prime Minister. Well, in 2009, there was a celebrity scientist that showed up in Ottawa ahead of the Copenhagen talks. His name was Tim Flannery. He recently visited Ottawa again. He has advised Liberals, he's advised New Democrats on dealing with issues surrounding climate change. He is in many ways Australia's David Suzuki. I asked if he's going to be one of the advisors, if Suzuki will. The Liberals, they're not saying at this point. But listen to how people that fully drink the Kool-Aid on these climate talks, listen to how they view things. In 2009, as Flannery was giving a news conference here in Ottawa, I put to him that even The Guardian had come around to Stephen Harper's way of thinking and admitted that much of the negotiations at these climate talks are about getting money from rich nations to poor nations. And Flannery said, oh yes, absolutely. And then he went on to tell me this. We all too often mistake the nature of those negotiations in Copenhagen. We think of them as being concerned with some sort of environmental treaty. That is far from the case. The negotiations now ongoing towards the Copenhagen Agreement are, in effect, diplomacy at the most profound global level. They deal with every aspect of our life, and they will influence every aspect of our life. Our economy, our society, our relationship with the developing world, and our relationship with the environment as well. These climate talks aren't really about the environment. They're not really about science. They are about transferring money around. All you have to do to realize that is read the actual text of the agreement. Look at why the developing nations always storm out of the talks at some point. It's because they're not getting enough money. Unlike other media outlets, as we move towards the end of the climate talks in Paris, here at The Rebel, we will be reading the actual text of the agreement and not just reporting on what advocates tell us these talks are really all about. These talks are about money, but they're also about reworking the global order and how we live our lives. Thus, the stories I've been telling you about, the nudge to get you to stop driving your car, to stop eating meat. This is about reordering our entire way of life, including sucking money from wealth-producing nations to developing nations. That's the side of the story you'll only get here at The Rebel. What I want to know is, where does Justin Trudeau fall on this, and how much of Canada's treasure, how much of Canada's money is he going to commit when he takes the premiers and the opposition leaders with him to Copenhagen?